Hello everyone. In this video, we will be creating a helper function that allows us to turn a very large number into a shorter abbreviation of itself. I will be continuing on the code from the clicker series, but feel free to do this with any code that you have. So first, I will create a utility folder called utils. Inside here, I'll create a JavaScript file. Let's call it formatter.js. Inside here, I'll export a function called number formatter, but I'll just say nf to be short, and it will take in a number. Okay, so in this function, we want to be able to read this number and using our logic inside our function to abbreviate it. For example, if our number is say 1.3, let's say 1.32 million like this, we want to abbreviate it to 1.32 mil like this, to 2 decimal places. Okay, so to do this, we will need an array that will help us determine which symbol we can apply to the end of the number. So what we can do is we can create an array called match, and inside this array we will have a lot of objects, and in each object we will have a value. First one will be 1000, as well as a symbol. So the symbol matching to 1000, for my case I will call it K. And let's copy this one down multiple times, and let's say for this one we can do 1 million and we'll have a symbol of M. Same thing with these. Okay, and this one will be 1 billion, and for this one we can say 1 trillion. You can feel free to add as many as you would like, but for this video I will keep it only to the 4 of these. And one more thing, instead of writing out a big number like this, you can instead just write 1e3. This 3 will just represent the number of zeros that the number has. So this one we can say 1e6 and 1e9 and 1e12. So it is exactly the same as before, but it's a lot easier to read. Okay, before this array, I want to actually just do an if check. And we can say if number is less than 1000, which in this case we don't want to do anything with the number because it is already quite small by itself. So we can just simply return the rounded version of the number. math.round num. Okay, now let's say the number is bigger than 1000. We want to be able to use this array to apply some changes to the number and abbreviate it. So in this case, we want to create another variable. Let's call it item. And this item will hold the object that has the largest value while still being smaller than the number itself. For example, if our number is again say 1.3 million, like this, we want this item to hold this object over here, because out of all the objects that are smaller than the number, this is the object with the biggest value. So we want to assign it to this object. To do that, we can say match, which is the array, dot find last, because as you can see, as we go down the array, the numbers get larger and larger. So in this find last function, we can create another function, and it will take in one object at a time, and it will return the object if it is smaller than the number. So we can say num is greater than item.value. So what this whole thing does is that it takes in this array and it executes this line using one object at a time. So first I'll use this object, checking if the number is greater than item.value. In this case it is bigger. It will set our item to this object, and then it will run it using the next object, and since it is still smaller than our number, it will now set item to this object. It will check again using this number, and now since the value is bigger than our number, nothing would change to the item. So eventually the item will consist of this object over here, which is exactly what we want. Okay, and now the last line, we will return the item in our abbreviated format, which will be 1.32 million. Not million, just M, like that. So to do that, we can return, first we want to divide our number by the value to get 1.32. So we can say number divided by item dot value, and then let's round it to 2 decimal places. So we can say 2 fixed, brackets 2, and now we can append the symbol to the end, plus item dot symbol, which in this case will be M. So this over here will give us 1.32, and let's say if it's something like our number is 1.3278 like this part will give us 1.3278, and then the 2 fixed and in brackets 2 will give us 1.32, or 1.33 in this case, because it will round up. But anyways, you get the point. And plus item.symbol will append the symbol onto our number, which will give us the M. Okay, so now that an entire function is created, we can use this in our index.js wherever you want to use it. And in my case, I want to use it wherever I make a change to the amount of gems that I have. Okay, so I've got my app up and running over here. As you can see, we've got 1.5 million gems. So let's turn that number into our abbreviated version. So I have the gem value in a few different places. So over here, I'll change it to nf and import that. Also down inside this function, I'll change this math.round to nf. And finally, inside, I think there's one last place over here. Yeah, I'll change that to nf as well. So now let's save that and check. It's still it's still not abbreviated. Let's just check inside the function. Oh, okay. This instead of item.value, it should be object.value, because we're iterating through this function using this value object. So it has to be object.value instead. So let's save that and go back. Okay, we can see 1.5 million, which is what we want. Let's just try doing a few upgrades, 1.45. Yeah, sweet. I hope you guys found this video useful. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching.